The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. A track opened in 1903 and known as the oldest operating motor speedway in the world, the Milwaukee Mile in West Allis is a famed circuit. 1 mile around in the fairgrounds of the Wisconsin State Park, this track has held races of many different sanctions, including NASCAR, kart, IndyCar, USAC, and more. Many drivers have taken themselves to victory lane here at the famed Milwaukee Mile, and although it's currently not on the NASCAR calendar in the real world, tonight it's on the Area Truck Series calendar. Welcome everybody to PTR TV for today's coverage of the Area Truck Series round number 10 here at the Milwaukee Mile. We're going to do 125 laps around this racetrack. Going to be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth, and in the truck, of course, Brad Dalton helping out with the commentary this evening. So, Brad, this truck series has had a very, very interesting sequence of events of late. Let's just say bulldozers have been the name of the game. Let's see if things go a little differently here at the Milwaukee Mile.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. It's so great to be here for this area truck coverage. A little bit thrown off, I'm not going to lie. I'm on a bit of a work trip here, so I'm in a weird time zone, in a weird location. But hey, hopefully everything works out the same. This is a very, very interesting track. It's not a wide open intermediate like you would expect here at a mile track. It's short. It's flat. It's a technical oval. It's only got about 9 degrees of corner banking, really, really low going through. You can really think of this and how to drive it like a weird blend of New Hampshire, Richmond, and a bit flatter of a Phoenix. That's the best way to drive this through and really go. This track is really about pressure. You're not going to be able to force and kind of bulldoze your way through. It's really going to be about applying the pressure from behind and being smart and calculated. That is going to be the key here. Be patient, and that is where you will really make the difference.
Patience on the throttle, certainly going to be a big deal here. The lines I'm very curious with. I know I've seen some different streams here over the years on iRacing. I know I've seen the IndyCar drivers use a lot of the real estate up in the second and third lane. We'll see what the trucks do use. This is one of the older tracks on iRacing, so it hasn't gotten the TLC that many of the newer tracks have gotten. Ironically, as Brad and I were talking off air, this track is still in circa 2008 mode here on the iRacing service, with even some relics of the Nationwide series and quite literally some 2008 signage there on the front straightaway. So again, this is not the most pretty track, but it's still a fun one to race. Of course, we want to thank everyone for tuning in here. Our cameras today brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. Check them out, Whiplash Simcams on Facebook. And of course, if you're watching on PTR TV, hit the like and subscribe button. And if you're on Twitch, consider following there. $5 a month will get you double points, custom emotes, and you can turn those double points into some custom merch. But as we were talking about, Brad, the track map here, as close to a perfect oval as you can get. But when you drive this place, it certainly doesn't drive as symmetric as it looks.
Yeah, it's very, very weird how this track drives, and especially if you can't figure out whether you prefer the high line, the low line. I know we were talking before, kind of in the green room, I'll call it, and it's high line ripping an IndyCar, but it seems like the bottom might drive better here. It's a very, very interesting situation back and forth. Traffic's going to probably be an issue tonight as well if we get a long green flag run. So yeah, this is a unforgiving track where if you're not careful on throttle and tires, it's going to be a bad night for somebody.
And apparently there's a Coliseum that I didn't know of here, and perhaps a zip line trail there off in the distance. I know this track not too far away from what at the time was Miller Park, wherever the Milwaukee Brewers play. 20 years later, I don't keep up with baseball sponsorships there, but let's go take a look at our point standings as we get closer and closer to the chase. Of course, the other two series for area, they are down in Florida ripping around the Daytona Road Course, but here in the Truck Series, we find ourselves up here in Cheese Country in Wisconsin. Garrett Conrath up by about 12 points on Jeremy Miller, and you can see in the yellow text those drivers with their distance to the cut line, Brad. You go down there to Chase Cabry, who's missed a couple races. Ryan Swan, 4 and 6 points appropriately. And we only have tonight, Kansas, and Talladega to solidify our chase lineup.
I tell you what, I was doggone mad that I missed last night. Typically, I would be on a Monday night broadcast, but you and Cody did a great job last night, I have to say, filling in and going through. Everyone knows my love for the Daytona Road Course. That goes without saying. Very interesting to see how the trucks go through. And of course, if you're not familiar in area, the teams of the 3 different series, they get to vote what goes where. And especially here in trucks, I don't know that trucks would enjoy Daytona Road that much. So they voted to go somewhere different this week. We're going to see how it plays out for them. And well, the fact that we are that close to the chase makes such a big difference, I think, in the mentality these drivers need to shift to. Of course, building up to this, you know, we've had the cautions, we've had the runs, we've had the frustration, some of the drivers getting mad at each other and etc. and everything with that. Right now, it's do or die time. This is where you can't afford to make mistakes. You can't afford to have silly errors. You need to be more willing to be 2% out of the throttle, to be 20% ahead. And if you don't understand where that math comes from, well, I hate to tell you, you're probably not on the edge of the top 12 right now thinking about getting into the chase.
Absolutely. that chase cut line. Again, a lot of money on the line here, getting into that final situation. But again, Talladega on the line. At least in this series, you do have 2 semi-normal races. I will consider it a normal race here, even though it's a different track. Of course, trucks raced here off and on, most recently in 2024. So this is not completely immune, as the 27 there getting free off of turn number 4 and into the pits. I will say the pit entry here at Milwaukee is very, very awkward. But let's go on board here with Jacob Harberts. And you can see, Brett, just look at that yellow line. Kind of reminds me of Myrtle Beach. Obviously, in 1909, they didn't have the high-tech geometry tools that they have now. So that groove is not a perfect circle by any stretch.
Yeah, I think that track map is a big lie, honestly. I think if you were wanting to run this as a perfect oval geometric, you could. But again, sitting but in seat driving, it does not feel the way it looks, and it makes it very interesting. 1 and 2 are going to be big areas here. Overdriving turn 1 on a restart is going to be a big problem for some drivers, and saving that right front is going to be the big key line here, because that high line 2 can come in as tire wear comes through. I think what we may end up seeing is, as tires wear out and as trucks go, we're going to start to watch them try to work up the track a little bit, just so they don't have to put as much turn in and they can try to save some tire. We'll see how it works out. That's a prediction, and I'm not 100% on if that's going to happen, so if it doesn't, don't hold it against me.
See what happens. Of course, in the discourse, as we've been talking about, Brad, I mean, it's not anything to really joke about. We joke about it, but it is becoming a more serious situation in the league, as this truck series, let's just say, it has not been the cleanest endeavor, to say it nicely. And I know there was discourse in chat about, people want this series to clean up. Admin wants to clean up. I didn't make a graphic, Brad, because as you saw in our back-end chat, we'll verbally disclose it to our fans. The penalty list here is basically a third of the field here tonight.
Yeah, pulling up that list here of who has penalties and who doesn't. It is, it's rough. That's about the best way I can phrase it. Rough. And I hate seeing the series like that. And unfortunately, we kind of talked about it at the start of the season, looking with sort of the big gap the area took between last season and this season. You had a lot of new drivers filter into this truck series, and when you have so many new drivers filter into such a competitive series, I don't necessarily want to say it's lack of talent. I almost want to say it's more of everyone thinks they have more talent than they have. And by that, I mean the fact everyone thinks they are the best and nobody is willing to settle for second, so you end up with some of these moments where you have guys racing hard and it just doesn't work out. I don't know. I got a weird gut feeling tonight's going to be good, though, Corey.
Yeah, we'll see what does transpire here in a race that would have a 4,000 strength of field if this was an iRacing official session. But let's head down trackside for the Central Mobile Homes starting lineup. If you're looking for a shed, Triple Crown trailer, or new home, look no further than Central Mobile Homes, proudly serving Florida customers for 30 years with a plethora of different floor plan, shed designs, and Triple Crown trailers. Available in LaBelle, Okeechobee, Clewiston, and Sebring. You can head to centralmobilehomesinc.com for more info. But let's head down trackside and find you that PTR TV Central Mobile Homes starting grid. It's going to be Alex McCollum starting this race from P1 with Jacob Harberts in P2. Second row, we'll find Travis Beckner and then Garrett Conrath, our points leader. We'll head back to fifth. We'll find JT Poole and William Hale in the number 62. Seventh will be Zach Carr and Jalen Handcamp in eighth. And then rounding out the top 10, Brad, we have Dante Curtis and Chase Swank.
Moving on from there, we go P11. We got Hayden Swank right behind with Chase Cabre in P12. Cody Dempster P13 with Alex Chilcutt in 14th. 15th place, we'll go back and find Jeremy Miller with Danny Ware. Where is he? He's in P16. P17 here on the night, going to be Brad Slaughter Jr. with Grant Brown in the Moho truck in 18th place. 19th place on the night will be Trevor Edwards with Josh Parrish in P20.
And we've got a 40 truck field here today. Garrett Grant 21st, Jacob Bell the Boss Man in 22nd, 23rd Bryce Senesac with Carson Burrows to his outside. We go back a row further, we find Brian Noel and Corey Bodie, the Orlando native. Going a little further back, Kyle Taub and Jeff Wilson, and then rounding out our top 30, Chris Seidenfeld and Ben Pierce. We're going to let the rest of them scroll on through because, again, with the myriad of different penalties, really the last half of this grid is going to have a much different lineup than what we are seeing on the screen.
And getting into those penalties here. Corey, you want me to read them out?
Yeah, I didn't make a graphic because I didn't know how to fit them as many as they are, so.
All right. End of line, 15, Forrest Smith, Travis Beckner, Chase Cabre, Dawson Miller, Cole Cabre, Brian Noel, Hayden Swank, Aaron Johnson, Jeff Wilson, Logan Hartman, Chris Seamfaden. Drive-throughs, Garrett Grant, Joseph Swan, Corey Bodie, Alex Chilcutt, Chase Swank, and Ryan Andrew. So yes, there are multiple drivers that will be serving EOLs and drive-throughs in this race.
Let's see what our weather conditions are from West Allis, Wisconsin. 85 in the air with 107 track temp. Virtual time about 3:30, so this will be certainly an afternoon race. There are no lights here, although they did put some temporary lights in a few years. I know there was a famous race, I want to say in about 2008, where Denny Hamlin had to take over for Eric Almirola. There was a rain delay at the Cup race. He flew in. Almirola started the race. Denny Hamlin, by sponsorship obligation, had to take over the ride, ended up winning the race. But the actual stat book says whoever starts the race wins it. So Almirola won a race that he technically didn't start, and that happened right here at the Milwaukee Mile, as we probably will get one to go. I think everyone's getting sorted out in the back.
Yeah, and as we get everyone sorted out in the back here, this is going to be the case where it's going to be interesting to see how the race start goes. Is that outside line going to be advantageous? Is the inside line really going to nail it through? I mean, you've got two strong trucks up in the front. It's just going to be a matter of who can capitalize between the two here as we look at our race details. 100% fuel, 4 sets of tires, no backup truck with a fixed setup, and 3 green-white checkers will make our day. We've had a run of using those green-white checkers. We'll see if that continues here today.
Yeah, we have gone into overtime quite a bit in this 2026 Area Truck Series campaign. Hopefully the trend does cease here at the Milwaukee Mile, a track that drivers do know, but it's not one of the tracks that they have on the back of their hand. And we'll see how the experience is, how the flow is, how the race is here this evening. McCollum and Harbor, it's going to get ourselves going here. Going to head into the restart box here. Barney has the flag in hand, and let's go racing from Cheese Country. Green flag here in Milwaukee.
Several trucks already peeling off to serve their drive-thrus. Meanwhile, up in the front, Alex McCollum holds on in the line, and you got JT Poole there, the number 82, down to the inside, trying to work with Jacob Harberts. And then you got 2 by 2 behind, a little bit of a wiggle further back, down around the top 10, but everyone else up through is trying to keep it nice and pretty so far. 2 wide, a little bit of shuffling, but for the most part, everybody kind of keeping themselves clean and green here. 1 lap down of 125, top 10. Set out in single file, Corey.
And then here comes the parade. Obviously, we saw the end of lines. Here come our drive-throughs at the end of lap 1, and whether they can stay on the lead lap is going to be super tight here. This is not a track that I have as much of an encyclopedia knowledge of in terms of normal flow here, but what I do know is that darkened pavement to the inside is grippier than the other pavement, so that is why most of the time you will see drivers want to stay down there. But as the track evolves, as the heat goes in, the rubber goes in, that may change. First side-by-side here, 62 of William Hale, Jalen Handcamp here in the 67. We'll see how that high lane works, Brad. Thus far, I mean, it's not a rolling brick up there. He's hanging on pretty decent.
Yeah, and holding on decent there through. I mean, that's going to be the big key moving along, is just really making it work out. Again, we're only 3 laps in. What's that famous saying? You can't lose, or you can't win on lap 1, but you can certainly lose it. So if you can find a different line, different rhythm to make it work right now, try to save some right front, try to really just be kind to the truck. Even if you're losing, you know, quarter of a tenth, half a tenth a lap even here now, if you're saving tires in that long run, it's going to come back to you.
It will. Now, we did have a few of the drivers who did have to pit, not all, but some, Alex Chilcutt, Garrett Grant, and Corey Bodie all did manage to stay on the lead lap. Chase Swank and Joseph Swan did lose a lap. I'm not quite sure how that worked out, but that's how the cookie crumbled. Alex McCullum up front right now, getting a sizable lead. This is one of the tracks, Brad. We're not going ultra fast here. I think let's go on our Whiplash SimCam's onboard telemetry and get the maximum speed that the Milwaukee Mile offers. And we'll get up to a maximum of about a $146. We'll go down to probably right around 100, just a skosh below 91. So we're not going super fast here, but just fast enough that aerodynamics and aero push will come into play.
The good old conversation about aero grief that's always been there, but now it's a topic of conversation. Yeah, that's one of those things that, I mean, it's there, it's going to be there. Here's Travis Beckner trying to be there in the back of the 56, looking to make some moves down here through. A little bit of a wiggle there from the 56 ahead, who holds on to it. That's Kyle Topp trying to hold on for LVV Racing through your Hendry County flagman, the number 28, working that inside line well. And yeah, that yellow line really shows just how out of square this track is.
And it really reminds me of taking it to the now non-existent Myrtle Beach Speedway, as Beckner may be into the back of Carson Burrows. There may be, I think, more so replace that with is in the back bumper, and that'll wash up Carson up the racetrack just a little bit. And I think Travis is going to make a stab at it there, and he will just do the good old diver through. And let's see if Carson can do a crossover. He cannot. Now he is going to fall within the clutches of Bryce Senesac to his outside, and Taub again behind Ben Pierce back there. Then you go back, and that 54 truck, one that you don't expect to stay back there too often, Cole Cabry working his way through. He's near Ryan Swan, and then brother Chase, haven't seen him in a few weeks. He's in the 41, and he is in 28th.
Yeah, that's effective penalties, shuffling drivers further back, and that's the thing that in the truck series specifically we've kind of seen is, you know, build up those those rec scores, as it's called here in area. You end up having a certain penalties, but then you have to power your way through the front. And what we've seen a lot of drivers get caught out on is they serve their penalties and then trying to get back through the front, they overdrive it, and that kind of compounds itself and rolls its way through. We're really seeing a good job here, at least in the first 10 laps, of those fast drivers using their head to work through the field. Especially looking at that 28 of Travis Beckner, I was really surprised just to kind of see the racecraft there. I'm getting into my Wednesday night terms here. The racecraft really come out with picking your moves, being smart, getting near the back of the truck and kind of pushing it through. And we're seeing that a lot with a lot of these guys holding side by side and really playing it smart. You got the 20 here trying to work down the inside. Ryan Swan on Ben Pierce and doing a great job making the move, come off the exit, clear yourself. There you go. Great move.
And of course, you can head yourself over to rickshotsauce.com, get yourself Lokahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, South Beach Heat. And again, Rick's Hot Sauce sponsoring the Rookie of the Year battle on Mondays for $100, but check them out at rickshotsauce.com. And there is Cole looking to dive on in there in the 54. It looks as though that drivers are trying to stay within that darkened pavement as we predicted. But this is almost kind of the situation, Brad, where it's happened to me before. The race where you need a caution flag. You're in the back. You need a reset. You need some strategy calls to flip yourself up to the front of the field. Sometimes those are the races you don't get it. And I'm not going to make any crazy statement saying that we're going 125 laps green here today, but 10 seconds back for Cole and company all the way back here. That's about a third of a lap that they are doing it, about running half a second slower than our race leader.
That pace difference is very surprising to me right now. I wasn't expecting to see so much of a pace difference so early here, and I gotta wonder, you know, we are on fixed setups and a lot, so your tire saving, your sort of mindset has to come down to the brain but behind the wheel. So looking at Alex McCollum here, I gotta wonder, is this a case of throw caution to the wind and just let the tires go? I mean, you have 4 sets of tires for 125 laps. Math says that should be doable and then some on the go here around Milwaukee. So I'm thinking at this point, it's just a difference in approach. I think some drivers are being a bit more conservative with that pace versus Alex Chilka or Alex McCollum, Jacob Harberts, JT Poole up here in the front. They're sort of throwing caution to the wind, and I think they're really running the wheels off this thing, thinking that eventually that caution is going to come that they need.
And of course, for Alex McCollum, he is 17th in the points and currently about 23 behind the cut line. He does have a win. I think there's a wild card system, because I know Jacob was talking about it last night. Perhaps we can get some clarification. I think though for winners in the top 20, I think they get in, because I know he was talking about that last night. But either way, you want to get in the top 12 anyways. And Alex, he's missed 2 races, but he's only 23 points behind that cut line. Another driver who's missed 2 races, Chase Cabry, he's also in the cut line, so he's had a slightly more consistent season, although not finding victory circle. And I'm looking here at the lineup there, Brad, the point standings, and we have so much parity. I think it is largely due to the attrition in this series. But there's really, as I scroll through, only one driver who has won multiple races, Jonathan Evans, and he's only part-time. Everybody else in the Truck Series is just basically 1 win apiece.
Yeah, and looking at the rules for the Chase, it's the top 10 drivers in points following race 12. They automatically lock in. Your final 2 point positions for the Chase, 11th and 12th. It goes to the 2 drivers ranked 11th through 20th in the standings with the most race wins. Put an asterisk on that, though, because you have to start 10 of 12 regular season races. So there is that contingency as well to make it into the Chase. So that is where the big difference is going to come in here. What really separates that out, of course, tiebreakers will go wins, top 5s, top 10s, respectively. So when you break that into it, it really does make the points dynamic a bit more complicated than just saying, here's your top 12, and really settling that through, because it shakes things up, and you never know that wild card position in 12. You can see drivers, if you're in that top 12, jump in and still win. Like, that is not, your 12th, you're locked out. You can be 12th place and win.
And that's how of course, back in the Chase era of NASCAR prior to this year, as Jeremy Miller drives it in deep nearly into the left rear Jalen Handcamp. That was one of the versions of the Chase course. It started off as an even 10-person situation, then they opened it up to 12 with this same kind of wild card system, and then eventually up to the 16, and that we have now dropped as Miller to the inside, and Handcamp just doing a really good job utilizing that outside lane. I think maybe there's more grip forming up there as that inside maybe slickens off here at Milwaukee. And there's Miller maybe going to the high side, but he chopped the nose off. Danny Ware just played really nice to Jeremy Miller. That could have been bad.
Let's take out a replay of this one really quick and take a look at it again. On board here, watch how this plays out. This was almost very bad, and squeeze. That was, man, I don't know if that was a squeeze or what that really was.
Danny Ware, Jeremy, give him a Christmas card, because he didn't. If he didn't back off, you would have been going Duncan style and doing some donuts there. Yeah, speaking of donuts, almost did some with a power slide. Somehow Miller actually got bite, and now some contact between the 67 and the 30, washing up the track for Danny Ware to look 3 wide again. And here goes the 30, 67. Can he keep it out of the wall? Answer is yes. Let's go 3 wide for around the 10th spot.
3 wide here around P10, P9, trying to sort it out. Jeremy Miller will lead into turn 3. The 35, Danny Ware to the inside of Jalen Handcamp to the outside as they work their way out of 4. 2 teammates here working with each other in the mix, so they're going to play a little bit kind with each other. And unfortunately, I hate to say it for Danny Ware, I think that is going to be all she wrote. Now Danny Ware under pressure from Trevor Edwards. Brad Slaughter going to look to make a mix as well, as Danny Ware lost a little bit of momentum there in that battle. And, well, now you have Trevor Edwards working the outside line.
Yeah, that outside lane starting to really be a little bit more advantageous. Now, again, as I alluded to, this is one of the older tracks on the service. I do believe it went grip updates. I watched an IndyCar race here, and again, they were ripping about a lane off the wall as that dynamic track worked in, and whatever updates they did to make the surface grip more realistic. So that is why you see, again, 3 wide. Trevor Edwards looking high. Again, we've been 23 laps green flag racing. If it's going to cease, it's going to be because of what we're seeing right here. Brad Slaughter in the 81. Let's bring Grant Brown into it. And Jacob Bell, the boss man, he's in 16th. He wants to sniff of this little battle here. Is there 3 wide? And I said there'd be a caution in this pack, and I was right.
Travis Beckner, who was hard charging through the field there, looking to sniff in the middle there and go 3 wide. Unfortunately, comes into a little bit of contact, drops down the order, and that brings out caution number 1 here. 25 laps in, though. I will say these guys making it 25 laps. Very, very good go so far here. And let's take a replay of this one here and watch him. Beckner being so aggressive here to make moves and just puts the nose right there in the middle, gets 3 wide. 81 pops loose.
Well, did he pop loose? Or, I mean, did Beckner leave the lane open? Or...
I thought I saw the wheel wiggle a little bit in that 81.
It's really hard to say. Did Beckner leave the door open, or did the 81 get a little advantageous there? It's... well,
the 81 was trying to catch a loose truck.
So
he
actually...
watched the steering wheel.
Admin is going to assess 2 points to the 28. So they believe that the 28 did kind of shut the door, and again, that was a razor-thin call, so take that as what it may be. And let's see, we didn't really pay attention much to the fall-off situation. Pit road entry here is not easy. It is very narrow. It's a chicane in and of itself, and Handcamp going to remain on the racetrack as just about everybody else heading to the attention of their crew on a very, very tight pit road, and we probably will have shared pit stalls just to add to the fun.
I would expect 4 tires and fuel for everybody here. And I'm going to go ahead and just paint this picture. What's the fun about a chicane pit entry? You can really fake entries late in the race if you really want to be cheeky about it. And I have a feeling that we will see somebody be a little cheeky about it very late in this race.
Look at that exit with how tight that wall is to the outside. And I will say, in my iRacing tenure here, and this is something that I'm honestly shocked we haven't seen yet, there are drivers who will try to get the best possible run into turn number 1. And it's not out of the realm of normality here to actually hit the inside pit wall trying to get a very shallow entry into turn 1.
I'm really wondering what the decision process is here from Jalen Handcamp to stay out. That number 26, or that number 6-7, not 26, the 6-7. I'm really wondering what that decision process is here. 27 laps, you're going to be so out of it on tires compared to the rest of the field. I just, that fuel's going to come. Is the 67 staying out just to say that the 6-7 is on top?
Well,
for a lap?
I mean, we didn't follow the fall-off situation, but, I mean, we have seen a few times here in area, as well as other series that we cover, where the driver who stays out sometimes does a bang-up job and can hang on, but other times it has ended in cataclysmic manner as drivers on different paces, wheel spin, all the like. We'll see how it shakes out here. We'll find out not this time by, because the lights are on the iRacing Mustang pace car. Appropriate that we're using a 2005 Mustang on a 2008 track, because this car was still pretty modern when this track came out.
Yeah, that 08 Mustang was a nice car back in the heyday. I remember begging my parents to let me get one whenever I got older as a young kid and telling them, come on, I'll be so safe in a Mustang. And they knew me well enough to know better than to let me have a Mustang. When I was a teenager, I ended up with a Toyota Solera and a Chevy Cavalier. The Cavalier I wrecked, the Solera I bought myself.
And did you wreck the Solera?
No, I ended up working at a dealership and trading for 6 cars in like 5 years.
We are not here soliciting Financial Peace University advice here on PTR TV. Buy a car and stick with it, unless you have massive equity, which in this market you never will. But that's a podcast topic.
You never will in this car.
This is a podcast topic of which this is not. But we are 28 laps in here to the Area Truck Series race here at the Milwaukee Mile, and Handcamp on those old tires is going to fire off on the inside of the front row, and well, maybe he's not going to fire off because they are already hard charging Harbors with a big dive to the inside right off the jump.
And that was what I was scared of with those 29 now lap-old tires. Look at this, already off of turn 2, falling down to 7th place, make it 8th place, make it out of the top 10 by the time we get into the middle of 3 here. Just absolutely miserable if you're the 67. And the only thing I can really think of was just the fun of leading a lap. Jacob Bell loose off the exit of 4. Now look at this, at 67, out of the top 15 by the time we end up on lap 30.
Yeah, and again, as you said, with the amount of tires here, I mean, there's really only been 1 or 2 races that I can remember here in area where tire life, or rather tire limits, really came into play. Usually there is a surplus, but we'll try to make sense of that decision. Maybe, I don't think it was airtime, but we'll see what it is. But they are doing a great job getting by him. They've been 3 wide. There's the 55 of Josh Parrish and the 7 of Brian Noel. Chase Cabry there looking on the bottom of a 3 wide situation again, but a lot of space here, and most of it is usable. Jeremy Miller side by side with Hale. I don't know who the passer in the passee is, but they are side by side here through 3 and 4.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you the 62 of William Hale is probably the one making the pass. Big wiggle there on the bottom of 4, and that is an interesting place there. That's the second time we've seen him been wiggle there, and that's way back in the back of the field. Caution number 2.
That was the 86 going astray. And that is a victory burnout of sorts. That's Logan Hartman. We'll sort out what instigated Logan's issues in turn number 4. Very bright sunshine, evidently. There you go. That's Alex Chilcott. He was loose on his own, and Chilcott was just kind of there to push it over the edge. But I really don't know if Chilcott really had the opportunity or the time to evade that.
I wouldn't think so looking at it, but we'll take one more little look, and yeah, I don't think there was anything that could be done for avoiding that, and then it's just around. So yeah, let's get one more look off the decklet here. This is a good...
Yeah, he's already sideways, and luckily he didn't go all the way up the track, and admin already making the call, of course, assessing both incident wreck points to Hartman. And again, those wreck points are what adds to the tally, and as you get more and more, you develop a more harsh penalty. Starts off with the end of line, goes to the drive-through, goes to a missed race, goes to a suspension, goes to a ban. And as you do run clean races with no incident system tallies to your record, you will start dropping those points off, as drivers love to do, because that way they can actually keep their starting positions. But it's getting back to some of the partners here with area. Of course, Hendry County with Travis Beckner. And you saw the same sponsor on Alex Chilcutt's truck, but racing will be back this coming weekend, I imagine, for Father's Day weekend. You'll check them out. $20 tickets. Kids age 5 and under getting free discounts for teens and seniors. Come see racing at the most southern dirt track in America, US 27 in Clewiston, HendryRacing.com.
So great to see the 28 of Beckner just on the topic of Hendry County, charging through the field there and making great moves. Of course, getting caught up in that first caution incident, and is going to be looking to reset and recharge through the field here. But I mean, for Beckner, it was a early run along, and that 28 now up into 17th. I wouldn't be surprised to not see that 28 charge a bit further up here as we go 1 to green. And look who's up front, Harberts and McCollum.
And these were the 2 drivers who led most of the race, and well, actually it was McCollum who led most of the race. Harberts was second most of the time. I do believe Harberts on the inside is the control vehicle. He kind of had the better situation there, I believe, with the 67 kind of stacking things up. And did the 67 pit? He did pit this under this caution for 4 tires, obviously realizing that decision was not a world-winning choice there. But anywho, lap number 35 going to complete. Let's start lap number 36. 2 cautions deep here into what has been a pretty decent start to the event here at the Milwaukee Mile. Pace car with the aggressive left-hand turn, back on the loud pedal, green flag in the air, and a good jump for Harberts.
Now Harbert's very ready to get that race back underway. McCollum and Conrath holding side by side for second here through 2, and it is going to be McCollum the outside with a bit of an advantage because that's a big wiggle from Conrath on the inside, who will now drop into the jaws of JT Poole, that 82 truck. Now going to try to work that outside line. Mind the inside on the mid corner here into the exit of 4. That inside yellow, I think, is what's really causing some of these trucks to get loose. We're 3 wide back here with the 7, and that is the boss man. Oh, no.
Chase got a little excited there. Brief opportune chance for a 4 wide, and there was a pit wall there and not a lot of real estate, but he's trying to work through the field up in 20th to the now the inside of Jacob Bell. Just behind that, Parrish, Brad Slaughter. Contact up with Trevor Edwards, and we are under caution again.
Por qué?
I don't see anything. Was that a phantom Barney caution through all of that hoopla? It may have been, as we like to call it, an algorithmic caution. Just trying.
I think Barney just needs a good arm workout tonight.
We're in this big pack here. Oh, who is that? Okay. That's Grant Brown, who got punted. There's no way. 78 was in the dirt. There's no way that was. Are you
telling me that caution was for that?
That's worse than a debris caution. That's worse than the caution that took Carl Edwards out of the 2016 championship. Contact, good, great save by Grant. But that must have been one of those exact algorithmic, meets the bill of a 45-degree angle in relation to oncoming traffic for about 0.3 of a millisecond. And I did just get corrected, of course, by our YouTube chat. Hendry County is actually on a summer hiatus, and being the southernmost dirt track in America, and now mid-June, one could infer as to why. So you can catch them out on August 29th for Demo Derby, Enduro, and plenty of other fun family races, probably to start off the upcoming fall school season as well. Maybe one of the last times to get your kids out for a good race. You can check them out at the end of August, 3 weeks or so after our coverage will cease here upon the end of the season.
Crazy to think that we're already into mid-June. I was thinking about that today. It's weird to think how quick this season has flown, how quick this year has flown, but how much is still left in this season to go. And then, of course, who knows where things will land out. Of course, we plan on, as long as we don't get fired for yelling at the truck drivers, we plan on keeping all 3 series for future seasons. So make sure that your home of area iRacing stays on your radar. And of course, we get plenty of fun things that go on whenever area isn't here, but we got a long way to get to that point.
Absolutely. We got at least 7 races left, so about 21 combined races between all 3 series. So make sure you're here for the fun. Get your area swag at shop.areairacing.com for all their high-quality merch at low prices with their new rebranded lineup of t-shirts, hats, and accessories, and Adidas brand clothing. Easy to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. Shop.areairacing.com. And I did that without looking at the sheet. But we're going to head into turn number 4. Pace car going to take that very aggressive turn in there, as you can infer as to why, with that awkward pit entry. On the loud pedal, Harberts again. McCullum trying to fill in the gap before JT Poole does, and he's not going to succeed in that endeavor.
A little bit of a slide up there on corner entry from JT Poole, trying to just make that corner nice and pretty and round here. Again, you can't rely on that inside line there because it's not as smooth around like what you expect. So the 82 of JT Poole trying to hold the inside there to McCollum on the outside. McCollum trying to just work that outside line. Again, we only have about 9 degrees of banking. This is a very flat track. I almost don't even want to call it banking. It's almost just there as they hold side by side again into one, barely missing that pit wall.
Of course, in that Ford Ranger, JT Poole is, and Alex McCollum, who led the opening 25 or so laps, now fighting for second place behind that points leader Garrett Conrath, Cody Dempster, Zach Carr, Jeremy Miller, a long conga line as everybody else trying to sort themselves out here at Milwaukee, and they are not sorted out.
32 there, spinning down to the bottom of the track. Barney will immediately
throw
that caution. And oh my gosh. Okay. Amazon, my Amazon package that didn't arrive on Sunday like it was supposed to might be going to the 36's house. 32, my bad.
Well, let's see what happened. That's going to be a tough one for admin to make the call on, because I certainly can't decipher it. But the more interesting part of that is the part that didn't actually happen, which was Jeremy Brown. Woo! I've had that happen before, where you think you're gonna zig and you're gonna zag. But Brad,
thank you, Jeremy Brown, for slowing down for the caution.
Now we do have a split bag entering the pits here.
Oh boy.
We are about 20 laps into the stint, but really most of them have been under caution. Of those drivers coming in, you can see the 55, 77, 32. Of course, he was slideways. Ben Pierce, well, not Ben Pierce, but 74, Ryan Nowicki, and others heading to the attention of their crew. But oh, Brad, this started off 25 laps. I mean, we were optimistic that this was going to be the truck race to turn things around, but it can still happen.
You know, none of the cautions we've seen have been anything silly, though. That's usually what gets under my skin and boils my blood, is when it's just silly, I hate to say it, but dumb mistakes that you should know better than to do at this level. Like, you know, forcing it up the inside, going for a Silva Sin that you don't have in the bag, and you're doing it just to get some TV time. That's the sort of stuff that makes me upset. These drivers are actually driving really well. It's almost like things have snapped in, and somebody opened up their eyes and said, hey, we're almost to the chase, guys. Let's not do anything unnecessary here, and let's really lock this thing in. I'm not upset at it.
Now, not yet. As you said, most of these have been kind of racing deals. You coming up, he coming down. Warehouse carpets. So if you need a carpet, circa 2008, come to Milwaukee. There's a nice place that will help you with your flooring situations in your household. As we get bored here, we start reading the different ad reads all over this racing circuit. But Harbert's holding on. Again, McCullum wants to lead back. We know he has all the pace for it. He's debatably the fastest on the track, but clean air is so important. Back into the restart box. Can he time it? Well, can he time it to drop into second before JT Poole does? He does accomplish that, shutting the door. And now Conrath trying to rip around the outside and see what he can make of it.
Oh, watch him slide up, though, there in the middle of two, trying to round that corner off a bit better, doing a diamond approach. And that almost who is that with a big wiggle? 27, Zach Carr. That
was Jeremy Miller into the wall, and then the 27 with an aggressive maneuver to the inside. And Garrett Conrath a little loose to the outside of the racetrack, but all the while, I think McCullum may be staging a charge for the race lead as these drivers do continue to duke it out door to door. Poole trying to rip the outside. They are pace lap formation, if not tighter than pace lap formation, about 6 rows deep, Brad. And 3 wide in the back, and there goes Miller looking 3 wide to the inside with a send. And it's so far working out, so far working out, so far working out. He's sideways trying to keep it down there, and they're still 3 wide.
The entry, I think you can pull that off. It's corner exit where it's really hard to keep the car inside because you're fighting to get the car to rotate, but also let it come out. It naturally, of course, wants to wash out towards the wall and go. But you've got 2 trucks here outside you've got to mind, and that is one of those things that I think you can make a move to the inside of 3, but making it stick through the exit of 4 is so hard because you've got to bleed off more speed than you expect. And we almost saw it bite him there, but he was able to hold on to it. We hold things along, coming through, and oh, that's the 54. Oh. That is Cole looking for a move.
Now, if there's one thing that I wish I had thought of to do before this race started would be to put a camera right on the edge of that pit wall, because I'm telling you, Cole Cabry was within inches of hitting that wall as he is down behind. Talk about a battle of aggression here, back to back. You get the 54 and the 30 nose to tail here. That is the 7th and 8th position. Let's go on board with Cole here, and let's just see how close they are hitting to that inside wall. That time by a little bit more casual, but we have seen many drivers much closer to it as they try to go for that tight apex.
I think it really depends on if you're just looking to stay in line or if you're looking for a move. If you're looking for a move to the truck to the outside, then you're probably going to be more willing to really run towards that wall. And also, ladies and gentlemen, I think I know what Corey's probably going to do if we get another caution. So you randomly see a thumbnail screen for about 15 seconds. You know what Corey did.
Oh, it'll take longer than 15 seconds, but perhaps... You know, let's not go that route. We're not going to have enough downtime for me to consider doing camera adjustments here mid-show. I'm confident in that. Pull up the live timing once again as we got ourselves a decent little run. McCollum, he did manage to get to the back bumper of Harbert's, but he hasn't been able to get back by. And again, even though there is a little bit of multi-lane here, Brad, you can kind of work a different lane a little bit. You're still largely having to follow the truck in front of you and deal with that air wake, albeit at 90 miles an hour.
Let's look at the top 3 here that we have right now. Jacob Harberts, his 9 starts, has a win. You've got Alex McCollum there behind. Alex McCollum outside of the top 12 in points, currently sitting P17, would be set to inherit that 12th place slot in the go for the chase here, in a great position. Then, of course, your defending Season 7 champion, Garrett Conrath, who is just looking to make sure that he is in the running here. He's currently on top of points. This is the battle for the lead that we need to see, though, right here down the inside, taking a look. McCollum's going to have a look into 3. You don't worry about the pit wall to the inside, just force it through. And Harberts is really letting that outside line work well for him here, but not well enough. Exit of 4, it will have a bit of overlap. Is it enough to clear yourself? No, you're missing by about a tire, but into 1, you can get that run and get that clear.
And that will move the 1 back to his truck position and his starting position, P1 here. Now, will he pull away, or will Harberts find a second breath of air here to make another stab at it? Cole Cabry looking to the inside of Jeremy Miller into 3, and that was so close to contact, as there may have been a slight opening, but it lasted for about 6 milliseconds and quickly closed. A little bit of a wiggle by Jeremy on exit, but not enough to give Cole a diving opportunity into turn number 1. We'll go back to the field just a little bit, find some other good action, some good racing here at the Milwaukee Mile. You see Brad Slaughter to the outside, Kyle Taub to his inside, Chase Cabry in the 41, and who's behind Chase Cabry that is ultimately loose? That's Aaron Johnson in the 78 as we're slicing and dicing.
Some of these guys further back, I feel like there's a little bit more, I don't want to call it desperation, but frustration. Again, that feeling we talked about with drivers here in the Truck Series, where they feel like they should be further ahead than where they're currently sitting, and they're going to be more willing to look for moves and kind of slice and dice, as you're seeing, and really look to go places as we're fanned out.
Swank up to the top of the racetrack.
Almost pretty wide there. Yeah. I was going to say, Swank really looking to make a top line run here, make it work, and almost seems like he did.
He didn't want this to be the Milwaukee Mile. He wanted to add about a half mile going all the way to the maximum geometric distance here. Brad Slaughter to his arrears and super tight quarters racing there off corner exit. There's Chase in the 41 looking really tight to the inside. This is the kind of circumstance you watch out for that pit wall on, but he managed to find himself plenty of real estate there, still within the top 20, while Cole is up there in 7th here at present. So you look a little further back still, Bryce Senesac, Trevor Edwards. Remember, he was backwards on the front straightaway maybe 20 laps ago. And we still, at this juncture, Brad, still have, even all the way through the back of the field, still have 37 trucks on the lead lap.
very, very impressed with how these truck drivers are running right now. Nobody's really doing anything absolutely crazy. There's nobody that I just absolutely want to yell, get them off the track, park them, send them to the holler, because all these drivers driving with a lot of racecraft this week. It seems like this track has just brought out some of the best in them right now. One of the things the 41 did too last time through is Beckner gets a little bit of a door there on the 62 of William Hale in the mid corner, that truck washing a little loose, and Beckner's going to do this again. Hold that inside line very aggressively down into one, and look at the defense into one there in the battle for ninth as Beckner just shuts the door on the 62, does not let him go for a send down the inside. But if you do that into 1 and 2, you really squeeze all the way to the bottom, you can try to get a bit of a run and outbreak, and it's a very, very interesting tactic. We've seen a few guys do it, but really, really seeing that 41 do it was the biggest opportunity we've seen.
Absolutely. And Dante Curtis, he was in the top 5 earlier through certain circumstances. He's fallen back now outside of the top 10. And dare I say, we are 34 laps in for the most part for the leaders on their cycle. Now, I don't have a good inkling of information here as to what is the pit cycle here. 27 making a dive, or rather being dived upon by JT Poole. No pass complete there, but if I had to guess, just knowing what I know about Loudon, I'd say probably 80, 85 laps. So I guess if this does go green largely, maybe around the century mark, you'd be forced to pit. Brad, we always bring up, as we are about, let's bring up with our race leader, we are about a second off the pace. We always bring up overcut, undercut, but you have to read the room, read the race. You can't guess in the truck series of all series that this thing's going to go green. You have to hold out for the yellow flag strategy, as tempting as it may be to go for a green flag undercut.
I think at this point, it's genuinely a game of you are just nursing this thing till you can't anymore. I don't care how bad it starts feeling on the tires, as we see JT Poole really kind of showing a bit of follow-up here as that car will get past JT Poole, who is battling for the lead now, fighting just to retain a top 4 here and stay. But in the 4th place is that car looking to work around. And, I think at this point, even if we knew the fuel numbers and the tire fall-offs and the calculations, and we had all of the data that Prime has on their broadcast, and we could do all of the magical things here on PTR TV like we are the NASCAR production, and ultimately, that's just not possible with some of the limitations of iRacing. I don't think it would matter because, again, you said it. The wild card is that this is the truck series. All it takes is one driver, as we've seen, getting 45 degrees sideways in the middle of the corner. Doesn't even need to lose it. Doesn't need to impact anyone. Just needs to go 45 degrees sideways, pop loose off of 4 after hitting the inside there and hitting that yellow paint. And that's all she wrote. There's a caution. Doesn't matter if there was actual contact or anything, just with the way this circuit really runs and the way Barney's feeling tonight.
And of course, Darlington, where we were a few weeks ago, we had a lot of cautions that should have been that weren't due to the nature of that track. But this track is really, there's not really much off track here outside of just running in the grass. So if you spin, you're on the racing circuit, and that will instigate a caution flag. As we got racing here in the back, and then up front again, Cole Cabry, a little pancake there to Cody Dempster entering turn number 1. Again, he painted those donuts on the truck. If iRacing did model donuts in the damage model, he wouldn't need to paint them, because there he goes, putting them on naturally.
Cabry and Dempster here, they look like they are loving each other right now. Best friends, I have to say. They probably run through as they have that little bit of side-by-side contact. Their last lap coming out of 4 this time. Will there be any contact here? The 22 NASCAR D1 Colorado state champ of Cody Dempster. And I tell you what, if you want to pass a state champion, it's going to feel pretty good, I got to say, if you can get that pass done.
Yeah, I do remember iRacing did some kind of college kid tournament thingy for scholarship, so I'm assuming that's what it must have been. But I'm not as hip as I used to be. But there's Cole going all the way up to that higher lane. As we can see, I've always wanted to be able to do a time-lapse side-by-side, and it is possible, but I only have one computer. I don't have like 7 like we do at iRacing official headquarters doing these broadcasts with about a team of 10. But to be able to show the live track progression, because Brad, we are starting to see that darkened groove. We've put enough heat in the track. We've put enough rubber into the track that you can see that there is even darkened racetrack above that, inner pavement lane, which is why we're starting to see more side-by-side racing.
Track temp is up to 116 degrees Fahrenheit here. Air temp hasn't moved a bit, but track temp, it's went up 116 now as we're sitting at 4:21 p.m. virtual time, and no wind at all, which is very unusual. Usually we get at least, a few miles an hour of wind, but 1 mile an hour, if that, really hitting through right now.
Now, we did talk in the pre-race something about this track emulating Loudon. And Loudon is a track where one of the new lanes that you run is actually straddling the apron, and that's what Brian Noel was doing. You can do it. There's enough banking difference to where it can, as we call, de-wedge the truck. It kind of almost creates a suspension change, a wedge adjustment, as if you're going to loosen that truck up by going on that banking transition, but it's not enough of a transition that's going to instant spin out the car. So you can kind of use that to your advantage, Brian Noel doing that, and at the same time, it's cooler track down there, so if you can deal with the handling difference, you might actually find some grip.
Brian Noel there, I thought was going to get right in the back of Aaron Johnson there going through, as it seems like that number 7 truck has some doggone pace here. As we jump up to the front here, the 82 JT Poole now trying to make a move around the outside of Garrett Conrad, your defending truck champion here, as JT Poole looks outside line, wiggle here. They're all fighting those rear tires and getting the traction down on corner exit, which is easier said than done, and it's real easy to do a bit too much throttle and then just absolutely lose your momentum because you're trying to save the truck. Holding side by side behind the 609 Motorsports truck of Jacob Harberts, and you can see just how hard those Rangers are going to fight here as well. Houdini's now made an appearance.
Absolutely, as Garrett Conrad looking to the bottom of the racetrack there, and he really drove it in deep into 3, and I think he probably could have drove it in even deeper, but the 80 of Harberts did not drive it in deep, and that kind of closed on that opportunity. We have some of our other partners here in the Area Truck Series. The boss man himself running in the Blue Tip Pool Builders Chevy Silverado, and they can bring some life to your party this summer with Blue Tip Pool Builders. They're highly skilled craftsmen, and their cutting-edge tech will bring your pool to life to your unique aesthetic. And if you don't have a pool or space for it, they can make your outside kitchen area, dynamic lounging spaces all up and tidy and allow you to have some good entertaining this summer. Check them out at bluetippools.com. As Aaron Johnson going for a slide. And Brad, that is 3 times tonight. Only taking a year and a half of doing this 3 times a week. I can finally do most of the ad reads without reading the paper.
Pretty impressive, I'm not going to lie. It's a lot better than I would be doing right now. Going through, I always have to reference that.
Oh, chill cut. He saved it. I thought he was going to turn the 62 around there.
Chilcutt trying to live up to the name and chill before he cuts someone off on the rear end there. Going along. I don't think that one landed the way I wanted it to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you heard the loud. I had some good ones in the broadcast last night. Cody and I were on point. Should say, if you ever cover a road race with me, I got a good joke about sausage curbs that you can use there. But talk about that off air, as we are, Brad. I'm getting nervous. I'm getting excitedly nervous right now. We have been green for, so not 48 laps. That is how long the leaders have pit. I would stress to say that Chilcutt there in the 60 because he has the lowest number, actually even Jeff Wilson. So I'm going to say we've been green for 30 laps in a row. And I get going off of an 85 lap loose estimate. These drivers can go probably another 35, let's even say 40 laps. That means they're 10 laps short to make the race, at least for the leaders. But that would also mean potentially Chilcutt and some of those other drivers could make it to the end. Hopefully, admin's listening and can fill us in with some guesses, because I'd hate to paint this dramatic picture that's nowhere close to accurate.
Wouldn't it be something if in the truck race, the one that we've always joked about, the cautions, the drivers actively joke about $20 to not cause the first caution. If we see this race run out on a green flag run and a fuel strategy guess, that would be absolutely wild. Alex McCollum, by the way, if you're wondering why we haven't talked about that number 1 truck, 2 seconds in the lead. I mean, when you're the leader and you're 2 seconds up, Corey, what do you say about him other than just, oh, wow, here he is going through, having a good time until he catches up to some traffic ahead of him? There's not a lot to say for the one. He's running a dot.
Well, all that drama done in the toilet, in the trash can, in the dumpster, in all the places you don't want it to be. And I am struggling to find the cause of this one. Now,
There's a saying for this, Corey.
Jeremy Miller did pit, so he must have taken the inkling that this race was going green. But I will have to wait for admin because I don't, from my perspectives, see it.
Yeah, what would be... Okay, I don't know. We'll see what admin finds and gives us here. I was going to say, I think this is a case of we look to gift horse in the mouth, but I almost think this is a case of iRacing being broken at this rate. I don't see... If you tell me it was a caution for us getting a green flag pit stop, that's ridiculous.
That was the only one of the triggers that we didn't get a trigger. 71 self-spun, and that kind of caused it, and that's so... Discord's going to be interesting after this one there, Brad. But everyone pitting, and you could see this is a tight pit road, 40 trucks, well, 38 or so. So there are what we call shared pit stalls. You can infer what shared pit stalls are as those drivers do their things. I am going to try and devise the circumstances that caused our caution flag. So just bear with me, folks. One-man show here.
While he's pulling that up here, give you a fun fact. You can actually host up to 64 cars in iRacing on this track, and there's 43 starting grid stalls. So was looking that up here earlier just to see what I could find as we go through and look along. At this point, it's going to be interesting to really watch how this plays out here for these final few laps. These drivers are going to have to really focus on that stability on braking and rotating through. They get fresh tires at this point to really work their way out to the end, and that is going to be nice.
I can't find it, and I don't want to hold us up too long. Again, it must have been very, very subtle. It didn't trigger anything, and outside of just going backwards for too long, we're just going to call it a very fluke little baby caution. So either way, it was a spinning to evade the 5, so both of those drivers are not in any precarious position. So we will just say that is what it is. Admin called it a racing deal, and we'll get back going. All that drama we were just creating. Of course, Jeremy Miller, who he is going to be fumigating, but I guess the blessing for him is he's at least still on the lead lap and on fresh tires. Just lost all of his track position as we get ready for the restart.
And it's going to be a hard drive up the field for him, but up front, McCollum, Harbert's second verse, same as the first. We've seen this once. Let's see it again. The 1 with the go. Barney waits the green. We're green here in Milwaukee and down into 1. It's a matter of the 1 holding into P1, but unfortunately, 4 Harberts did not get the move to the inside to cover off Zach Carr. Zach Carr trying to fight for second place, and they're 2x2 all the way back behind. And look who I see getting up here in the top 10. Travis Beckner floating P67.
Remember, he had some issues earlier in the race, had a caution assessed in his direction, but having a good recovery there as Conrad looking really low to the inside of the racetrack, and we are wrecking again. That's the 14 of Grant Brown. Ain't no...
Didn't get a good view.
Ain't no questions on that one. We did have a long sequence of events that led up to that, but let's see, he's coming through 3 and 4 right now, and that is the 03 to his rear. He was on the curb, Oh, he made contact with the driver out to his outside, and then Bryce Senesac kind of hit him there. Let's see that. 62 of hail. So that's going to be a tough one for admin to make the call on as well, as many of them have been tonight.
Are you ever glad that you're not up in admin having to make the decision?
Oh, I've run leagues
who
before,
caused the
and I don't
caution?
envy it. I do not envy running leagues anymore.
I'm very glad I'm not up there because you're never anyone's friend in the moment. Of course, you're friends during the week, but as soon as you step up there in that admin tower, they will say anything. And I know there's a famous Dale Jr. story where he talks about when he learned that NASCAR was listening because he's going off, and his spotter says, Dale, they want you in the holler post-race. And he goes down in the holler. I think it's Bristol going through, and he gets his butt chewed post-race in the holler because NASCAR was listening to every word he said, and none of them were nice.
Yeah, I know Dale Jr., he was one of the most vocal ones about the debris cautions, the phantom yellows back in the day. And I wouldn't be surprised if part of that was in his conversations as well. I know there was not even a rumor. They say it was an actual fact that old Bill France Sr. actually had Dale Jr.'s, Dale Sr.'s radio live in the booth on his thing, and he would actually go in and talk to Dale Earnhardt specifically during the race. Interestingly enough, but we're 40 to go. And this race has just gone in phases. We went 25 laps green, we went 30 laps green. So that in and of itself, Brad, those are facts that we do have to celebrate. You know, it's almost like you're, a kid tying his shoes for the first time, or going a stand-up potty and not spilling it all over the place. Here in the Truck Series, and I'm saying this the most respectful way possible, sort of, we got to celebrate these wins because we have had some good stints of green flag racing today.
Well, I mean, Corey, let's think about it. How many rookies do we have here in the go for this season of trucks? I mean, we've talked about this, but think about just how many rookies are in this series.
I do have to pause you on that. So they are area rookies, but they're not iRacing rookies. So they still know how to go fast, turn left, and Braesdale. They still know how. So while they're new to area, they're not new to iRacing. So I'm not going to let you use that as an excuse.
Yeah, but they're new to racing with each other, is what I'm saying. It's not necessarily, new to iRacing, but it's new to racing with each other, which sometimes can take some time to build through, as we've seen in other leagues. So that is, I think, part of what plays into it. But, hey, I'll take the wins where I can get them. 85 of 125, come to the green.
And Alex McCullum, once he took the lead back, this is the front row that we had, Harberts and McCullum, and we'll fire back off, and let's see if the 80 can fill the gap in before the 27 can't go down there, and he will be able to do so. Now JT Poole will have to rip the outside. 27 running the apron there, and that washed him up the track a little bit, but this is the best sequence of corners that Jacob Harberts has had. He's right to the rear deck lid, and now actually looking for the inside move here on McCullum.
27, it seems like, was asleep there, missed a gear shift, didn't get the start going at all, and that has been a blessing to JT Poole and Jacob Harberts here as they are working their way along. 27 now dropping down into fourth place from the inside of that front row as the leader chose the outside, and now I have that backwards. Leader chose the inside as the 27 is going to drop back in order. 82 up into third, Harberts in second, McCollum holding through, and well, further back, they're still shuffling, trying to figure it out.
I saw Alex Chilcott running a mega high line, and he seems to be having a little bit of success in doing that, but he will now fall back in line behind Dante Curtis, who's had a good run here today. Garrett Conrath now side by side still with the 27. Now that the high line is coming in, it is harder to tell who the passer and the passee is. Whether Conrad's trying to rip the outside or Zach Carr is trying to make that inside lane advantageous. Zach Carr, if memory does serve, did win himself a win. He won himself a win. I believe he got himself a win in one of the series here this season. But anywho, he's still side by side with Garrett Conrad.
Let's see.
It wasn't in the Truck Series.
I was going to say, it's not trucks, I can tell you that much. So,
was it Indy in the Pro Series, I believe it was? Well, now I'm going to have to go and do some deep diving. So I know a Zach did win a race this season, but while we sort that through, they are still side by side. Cole Cabry, he is now closing in the 54. And McCullum not pulling away. Jacob Harberts is staying there. It was Zach Kerr. Zach Carr, very close. So giving a little too much credit to the 27, but that wasn't the Pro Series. But very similar names here. But anywho, that battle has finally ceased.
Zach Carr does have a win in area. I can't tell you that looking at the stat sheet here. So not out of the realm of possibilities to see Zach Carr running through again. These are all strong drivers. That is the one thing that I don't, with kind of everything that we've talked about with the Truck Series, I don't want it to be lost that these are strong drivers. It's just the fact of, it's been a long season for some of these guys. And, when you have that moment, it can sometimes just, I don't want to say sour things, but it can definitely make you feel different here, as Zach Carr's win was in September 2024 in the former Xfinity at Rockingham, to give you a fun fact there. So a driver who has won before, and we'll see if can continue that maybe into the Truck Series this season, running P5 right now.
Yeah, at a very difficult track. Of course, next week's race at Kansas. Kansas is, I don't want to say it's an easy track, but it's a different set of challenges. Pack racing, aerodynamics, drafting will come much more into play there at the Multi-Groove racetrack in Kansas. Will be a triple header for the next 2 weeks between all three area series. And then we'll round things out at Talladega. But to also finish out this week, again, we'll be taking the trip down to Florida as the Florida State Builders Pro Series will take their likeness to the Daytona Road Course under the lights, ironically enough. And as with last night, Brad, no NASCAR chicane. They were ripping 208 miles an hour into turn number 1 last night, and a 200 into the Le Mans chicane. Interesting to see what those Nopes cars can do speed-wise.
I might make a drop-in appearance Thursday just for fun because, again, as I said earlier, everyone knows how I feel about Daytona Road, and there is just something good about watching the cars rip through. Watching the broadcast last night was so great. It was so weird. As caution is out, and let's see if we can get an idea of what happened there, because we were in a groove, and I think this one has a more clear indicator than the last one.
Josh Parrish in the 55. Let's see, Jeremy Miller to his. Okay.
All right.
I don't need a degree in detective sciences to sort out that one. But,
are you sure about that?
Well, detective sciences, I don't know if it's a degree, but they do have a lot of stupid degrees these days in colleges. But anyways, he was ultra slow, so I'm going to back that up a little bit, because he was very, very slow. And I'm gonna take my sass back a little bit. I mean, we know what happened, but
so he slid the corner, and I think was trying to gather it up.
He was stopped. You can't really say that the 30 would have been able to forecast that. But we are back in the pits.
Some drivers, some aren't.
A split bag deal, but I think you were about to give us a legal definition of whose fault that would have been.
You see, in the insurance industry, we would have said that you rear-ended a stationary object. That's where we would have called that one.
But it wasn't stationary.
Stationary enough.
I do remember they say, like, when you're on the highway, like, you're expected to go fast. So if somebody just randomly brakes on the highway for no reason, you can rear-end somebody and it not be your fault, because how would you have known that they were going to randomly slow down for no reason? So
we'll talk post-broadcast about that one. I've got a applicable story. We'll talk post-broadcast.
Moral of the story, buy a dash cam. And on that replay, 55 had a hardware failure or software failure. His screen stopped screening and it went black. So that is why he abruptly slowed, and luckily, I don't think Jeremy really had any damage from that. Luckily, we're going slow enough that the issues aren't too prevalent, but we'll pull the timing back up so that you guys can see what we have to play with here. We're now 28 laps to go. Our top 11 drivers on 18-lap-old tires have stayed out. And our first driver that pitted is going to be Cole Cabry. And Cole Cabry took 2 tires, and the majority of them did. However, Alex McCullum did take 4 tires. He is back in 15. We got a restart. We got drivers coming and going. Brad, what can go wrong?
Why are you asking me? You know the answer to that one. As we go side by side, JT Poole will be the control truck, and we go green here. And now Trevor Edwards needs to try to make a move to the inside with the 7 covering that off well. What are we doing 4 wide in the background? What the flap are we doing 4 wide in the background?
Are we 4? Are we 5? We are just Daytona. Talladega is in 2 weeks, boys. They are trying to sort things out. The fresh tires trying to work through. Again, Cole on 2. There's McCullum. He's the race dominator. He's looking in the middle. There is no way this is going to end with everybody facing the right direction. There's
Whoever
no
just
way.
backed out of the 4 wide in the background, bless you, child. Bless you, honey child. Whoever that was that backed out of 4 wide in the background.
And there's Grant Brown. How many times has he been in a precarious position here today? But he finds himself at least temporarily in the top 10. And there we go, Jeremy Miller in the back.
And caution.
So we'll sort this one through. At least we saw what happened there, and it was Jeremy Miller. I said that there was no chance that that was going to work out well. It's Jeremy Brown, battle of the Jeremys. Big pancake, and gets stuck. One more look at it here. They really just seem to get stuck on each other. There's one shot, and then 46 got loose, and then he just kind of got loose into the other Jeremy's right front. And actually, the 30 does have a pretty tangible amount of right front damage from that. Yeah,
definitely looking there at it. So, all right, 25 laps to go. This is going to be an interesting one. Your top 5 on 22-lap-old tires.
Now, Brad, we do have the in our chat, Phoenix Flyer 36 saying that we're going to blame them for their presence in the chat causing all the cautions.
Oh yeah, Phoenix loves to. If Phoenix is floating around, Phoenix will just carry a little caution curse. It seems like every time Phoenix tunes in, that's about the time that we get one of our cautions. So, yeah, I know Patrick and Howie over in Area have been feeling that curse as well. So, yeah, that's a fun one. And, well, if you come to Wednesday nights, you might hear Phoenix in the booth. You never know. Phoenix making an addition behind the scenes here on the PTR TV staff team.
I have no idea what you were saying because I was talking to David, so it's kind of doing what my wife is. I do with my wife and then selectively listening.
Oh, well, that's fine. Anyways, here we come through as we are going to go 1 to green. JT Poole, Trevor Edwards in the front.
As we come to 23 laps to go, and again, just giving the determination of where we stand right now. The 54 is on 2. McCullum is on 4. And then the next tire driver would be Conrath on 2. And then we have Chase Cabry on 2. And then the next driver on 4 would be Travis Bechter. So 4 tires, 4 fresh tires really isn't the name of the game here. 2 tires has been the situation, but McCullum was high enough up the grid. He could afford to take 4 and maintain the track position. But now we're in crunch time, 20 some odd laps to go. JT Poole, Trevor Edwards on the front row. Jacob Bell, what's he doing there in the 3rd spot right now? But pace car will pull on in, and we are going to try this again into the restart box. We're playing little games there. They were timing each other out there, and we'll fire off side by side into 1 for the lead, and hopefully these drivers can sort things out behind.
that might be the best start that second place has gotten this entire race here. Is Poole and Edwards are still holding side by side. Behind them, the Poole car of Jacob Bell in fourth as Cole Cabrey will work that outside line up into third. And no, is going to try a deep dive here to the inside. Is behind. We're 3 wide. We're 4 wide. We're bumping sides. We're going through up front side by side for the lead. Cole Cabrey, fresh tires trying to prevail.
Yep, and he is trying to run as fast as he can because he wants to get by so that one doesn't have a chance. And McCullum is stuck. He is back to the 8th spot. Now Chase Cabrey has got by, and there is a big swerve to the bottom. We've seen Chase make that move. We've seen Cole make that move, and McCullum is going to make his attempt at that bottom dive 3 wide as they are still just in a absolute hornet's blob. I'm just going to make up that terminology. Here in the back, still 3 wide. Beckner in the middle. Then they fan out and nearly go 4.
Not nearly. They are 4. Look at this coming through as Beckner's trying to work through. Alex McCullum's trying to work around here. You've got...
Oh, no.
Oh, there's side-to-side contact. Watch Beckner there. Beckner doing very well to stay out of that. And, oh, my gosh, this is such aggressive racing. They know 20 laps to go. They know that this time is almost done. And they got to make moves now if they're going to make it.
If you told me we'd be 3x3 for multiple laps at a 9-degree bank to flat oval, I would say you're nuts. But we've seen some really exciting racing here today. Of course, we've been a little rough around the edges, but all in all, for how the truck series has been, I will take this race, and hopefully I don't eat my words with how the next 20 laps goes, as that may have been a shunt McCullum to the back of Edwards, washing him off the track. Again, McCullum, he needs to move. He's in 4th. Chase Cabrey is the leader, 1.4 seconds from McCullum and 3 trucks to the race lead.
I'm more concerned about the 3 trucks than I am the 1.4 seconds here, because what's my favorite saying? It's one thing to catch, it's another to pass. But Alex McCullum very clearly showing a little bit of short track gumption here, not afraid to put the rear bumper in as somebody in the background went all the way to the bottom of the track while Alex McCullum works the bottom line on JT Poole. Makes a great move up to P3, 18 laps to go as they cross the line. Cole Cabrey trying to make fresh tires work further back in the field. We got guys just trying to make anything work right now.
As they fire off into turn number 1, you can see the gap. Cabrey was trying to work the apron there to get that truck to handle just a little bit better, and somebody all the way up there running into the marbles here, as that was actually an update that iRacing implemented. Is the marbles are not going to just 100% clean themselves anymore. Even if the track is set to clean the marbles off, they will still leave a couple residuals because no sweeper is perfect. But Jacob Bell did cease to exist for a second and has spawned back into the world. Travis Beckner looking to the inside, and oh, who is that going for a mega slide? Maybe slipping in the hot sauce there, but he managed to save it.
Yeah, that was a spicy meatball there of a moment.
There's no chicane back there, Swank. I think that was a Swank running the Milwaukee chicane, the number 70 of Hayden Swank, but hangs on to it.
Yeah, definitely good job there from Hayden Swank to hold on to it off of the exit 2. You can tell these drivers really pushing, trying to use everything possible. As I think Beckner just had a bit of a slide there into 1, and well, you can tell where the drivers are really trying to find time. They're trying to push. They're trying to do everything possible here going into 15 laps to go. Further up, we've settled into single file. Then you kind of have further back, things have really not settled down still. Up front, 0.3 of a second is the only thing that separates Garrett Conrath, your defending truck champion, from Cole Cabrey here, who is just looking to hold on for another 15 laps of racing.
And you can see there on the tracker, 0.2 of a second faster was Alex McCullum, and then right there in the middle is Conrath. Now, McCullum is going to hit the dirty air if he's likely already hit it, and that's why he's kind of stagnating out. But as each lap goes by, it will be harder and harder for him to dig into that gap. And again, will the 2-tire call by both the 54 and the 49 be the winning ticket? McCullum's race, that they're of leading a 67 laps. I almost want him to lead one more just so that number is not in the stat books, but he's led over right around half of the race, and he's going to have to dig, and he's not making much more progress.
He's trying, though. I'll give him credit. If you really watch, he is trying. It's a matter of get that last little bit here as we jump further back. Zach Carr and Trevor Edwards finding it out here a bit as well as we just continue side by side, trying to sort it out. Now the 27, Zach Carr working that inside line right behind Cody Dempster. And on the exit of 2, it seems like exit of 2, it's easier to leave room if you're the inside truck. As we got a big spin in the background. Caution.
Got the 3 of Steven Oberstadt backwards, and this is, I don't know if this is a blessing or a curse for those drivers up front, because some of them may not want this. Some of them may. We'll see what happens here. Let's check out our replay. The 3 truck of Oberstadt. That's the 7 of Noel. Oh, they were...
Oh.
But that was not the stemming of the incident here. The stemming of the incident was right around here with the 71 and the 67. 67 back into the 5.
Then it all just stacks up there with that awkward cut in turn 1.
Got one more look at it from the front of Jalen, because I think he may have just sent the 5 up the racetrack and then just kind of caused a stack up here. Push, push. And then there's the 71. And, oh, the 3 got hooked. That's what it was.
There was nothing the 3 could do there either. Unfortunately, just hooked around, sent through, and well, you do what you can. And here we go. Now, this is the mixed bag I like to see.
Hold the phone here. Chase Cabry pitted. He didn't think he had enough truck left, I suppose. He pitted for another 2 tires, interestingly enough. As did Chase. Now, I don't know if maybe they short fueled or something, but Garrett Conrath did stay out, and this is going to put Alex McCullum on the front row to presumably the outside lane, Brad. But here's another interesting point of note. You do have Jacob Harberts on 4 fresh tires, so depending how Conrath leads this through, Harberts might be in the best position of all, because he could potentially snooker by McCullum on the inside.
I'm calling it right now, race winner Jacob Harberts. I have a weird gut feeling that this is just going to work out a real weird way here on these final 9 laps as we're 1 to go and we get the field sorted up double file. Conrath is going to hopefully in the lead position be able to get a jump, but it's going to be up to McCollum to defend on Harberts to the inside and get through. For Garrett Conrath, though, that last restart was very, very weird. I'm curious to see if Alex McCollum can replicate that from second place here. The same thing that we saw JT Poole do.
This is going to be very, very interesting indeed. And will we go into overtime once more? We'll find out together here in about 5 to maybe 10 minutes. It's Conrath on 2, most everybody else on 4. Back on the loud pedal, they fan out again here at Milwaukee into the corner. Conrath with the lead. This is a very important battle for second between Harberts and McCullum, and this is also music to Conrath's ears because he's going to try to grab himself a lead.
Conrath needs to not be driving in the mirrors right now. You need to just look at the track ahead. And, of course, if you're a defending season champion, you know how to do that. 4 wide behind. Don't focus on that. Just look ahead. You need a maximum pace for the final 9 laps here. Cross line, big wreck in the background. I believe that was Jacob Bell wrecking in that. Caution out.
Yep, that is Ben Pierce in the 65. That is in a less than favorable position. And it was Jacob Bell.
It wasn't Jacob, I'm going to feel bad.
No, it was Jacob. He was on the bottom of a lot wide there. We'll have to go from the blimp cam there. 44 involved.
Oh, he done got hooked. He got hooked by the 62.
Yeah, Barney had himself a interesting perspective here. But let's see what happened to the boss man. See, they're just all stacked. Oh, 85 just kind of shut the door on him. And then that just kind of caused a massive stack up. And again, Barney had quite the view there on the front straightaway. But I guess if you are Alex McCollum, you can kind of breathe a little bit of fresh air there, because I believe somehow Zach Carr, as we were focusing on that wreck, Zach Carr may have snookered himself into the third spot, separating the 1 and the 80.
Does Dante Curtis not have a rear wing? Am I seeing that right, or was it just a weird camera angle?
Nobody has a rear wing.
Rear spoiler flap. Okay, it was just a weird camera angle thing. Never mind. Coming around there, I thought that 609 truck had the number 03 for 609 Motorsports, let me clarify, had a bit of rear end damage there, and I was getting ready to say, where in the world did that come from?
Well, maybe that could have made him faster too. Who's to say? But this will probably put us, if we get 1 to go this time, by, so we'll have 4 to go, still within regulation distance here. Conrath has survived. If he can get the jump, I think he can probably, you can hear confidence in my voice, I think he can probably hold on for the checkered flag. Of course, Conrath finally breaking the goose egg as the points leader, finally got that win at Darlington on June 2nd. And what would it mean? You know, that happens a lot, Brad. Once a driver breaks the goose egg and gets that win, gets that mark on this tally sheet, a lot of times they just start firing them off.
Yeah, that's going to be the interesting part to really see here, how it plays out. Drivers buckling things in. The Mustang is looking to pull out, and, well, when it comes through, it's going to be a game of Conrath, McCollum, Carr, Harberts. I'd almost even say Chilcutt and Dante Curtis, if this thing plays out weird way, could be interesting. It's just going to be a matter of who comes out on top of the cookie box.
Never been on top of a cookie box before, but that will be interesting indeed. Will McCollum be able to stay with Conrath and make a move? Or will Harberts or Carr snooker on through? Or can Conrath just hang through and win this race on the 2 tires? Will we have another caution? Will we go into overtime? Let's answer those questions. Phenomenal jump there by Alex McCollum. That is the restart of champions there. But he still will not be able to clear. Conrath will go up the track. Can the 1 get the bite to the outside? He cannot. He's clear. And now Zach Carr looking to the bottom of the racetrack. He's underneath the 80, but not quite underneath McCollum.
The 1 needed to put that truck to the inside there into the entry of 3. Needed to go a little bit later on the brakes and try to move there. But Conrath pulling out a 1/4 of a second lead, coming to 3 to go here. Zach Carr will settle into 3rd. Top 4 will go single file. You see McCollum looking a little bit more aggressive to try to get past Conrath here down the inside on the exit of 2. Is closing in, not close enough, but is right to the rear bumper.
Oh,
here
no,
we go. Pull out
Chase.
to the size 3, big junk in the back.
And that will put us into overtime there. Someone who is moving up quite quickly that I was going to point out was Cole Cabry. He's now up to 6th. He has 2 right side tires that are fresher than everybody else's, but brother Chase was backwards there on the back stretch, pardon me. Let's see what instigated that. He was on, he got a little bit loose, and I think he got loose down into the 15. If not, it was just perhaps a racing deal, but a phenomenal job just to do a little loop-de-doop-de and get that thing back facing the right way.
Yeah, take one more look at it here from the deck lid, and you can see holding through, and that is
going to be
JT Poole, who's in the mix as well.
Yeah, you can see he just got loose. I'm pretty confident. We'll see what admin calls. And 35, I think he just got loose in the checkup there, but this will, to no surprise, Brad, a Truck Series race in overtime.
It's becoming tradition here. Don't plan on it ending in regulation. You might as well add a few extra laps of fuel to get yourself to the end, because that's the nature of things here. That's just how it works. So buckle it in, ladies and gentlemen, because here is where we sit. Your top 5. You've got Conrath, McCollum, Carr, Harberts, and Dante Curtis, all on 29-lap old tires. Then you have Cole Cabry, who, Corey, you said you were going to mention, who's been able to move well up in the order right now on those two right-hand sides from a caution ago, or 2 cautions ago, actually. And then you have Alex Chilcutt, Hayden Swank, 29-lap old tires as well, just behind that.
Absolutely, as we will head into again, overtime once again, which is good for these Milwaukee natives because they don't get a lot of racing here at the Milwaukee Mile anymore, so now they'll get a couple extra bonus laps. And Conrath got as good of a jump as he could have asked for, but the jump that the one got, the timing on that restart was probably one of the best restarts I've seen. I am very, very surprised he was not able to sustain that run from the outside. But I guess the $1 million question, maybe the $250,000 question, this is the Cup Truck Series, so lower budgets. Can he do it again?
We gonna find out. I don't want to say yes or no either way, but we gonna find out. That's for sure. This is gonna be one of those where we're either gonna see a big upset, we're gonna see something absolutely wild, but who knows? I mean, we do have more than one green-white checkered if we really need it, but of course, if we get to the white, next flag ends it.
Of course, Alex McCollum, he got his first win on the season 2 races ago at Dover, looking to get a number 2 win on the season. Harbert's looking for his first Truck Series win on the year in 4th. Zach Carr as well, looking to get into victory lane. Let's head into overtime for the first official attempt into the restart box. Not a super great restart by the one. Will Zach Carr be able to fill the gap in? He will not. McCollum with a good dive to protect that second spot.
Coming into the middle of 2 here, and you can see everyone doing the same thing. 27 trying to squeeze low here through. Zach Carr trying to work along. We're 2 wide, we're 3 wide behind, but Garrett Conrath, 1/4 of a second gap already heading into 3.
And that 54 squeezing a tight 3 wide, trying to get what he can get on those 2 right side tires. Will we make it to the white? Answer is yes. 1 lap to go. Brought to you by shop.areairacing.com. McCollum taking a stab at it on those 4 fresh tires. He's led half the race, but will the pit call take him out of victory circle here today? Slicing and dicing in the back, no significance. Conrad's going to dive it in. Little bit of contact, washes up the track. They're both up the track. McCollum is there. We're going to have a drag race to the checkers at Milwaukee, 49-1. Who will get it? Photo finish, bumping, banging. At the finish, it's going to be Conrad.
Now that is hard racing. Garrett Conrath, the gap at the line, 0.013, and they almost got so wrapped up in knocking each other up, down, sideways the track, they almost gave it up to Zach Carr. And what about Cole Cabry coming up into 4th place? Goodness gracious me.
Yeah, absolutely. Cole Cabry doing a great job there to take advantage of that pit call there, but let's just take a look at what happened. There is the send. They're up the track, up the track, up the track. And here is the run down to the inside of the raceway here. And that is the run to the checkers here at Milwaukee. We'll try to stop it. Oh, I'm terrible at slow motion photography here. And yeah, you saw it for a little bit of time. I'm not Mr. Slow Motion, I'll be the first to admit it, but that was one of the closest finishes we'll have, as Conrath will park it in victory lane and immediately take it to the tow truck. But let's go and give them the final rundown of results here today at the Milwaukee Mile, Brad.
Garrett Conrath, 0.013, beating, banging, bumping, and running from the back stretch all the way to the front stretch on the final lap. Gets the win over Alex McCollum. Zach Carr in 3rd with Cole Cabry in 4th. Jacob Harberts will find a top 5 with Cody Dempster in 6th. 28 of Travis Beckner pulls a solid P7 after a wild up and down for him, with Hayden Swank in 8th. Dante Curtis P9, and Trevor Edwards rounds out your top 10 here.
In our second page of results, JT Poole at 11th with Alex Chilcutt in 12th. Chase Swank in 13th. Grant Brown in the 14th spot. 15th finds Forrest Smith, and then we have the 16th spot of Ryan Swan. Jeremy Miller with a chaotic day. Chase Cabry down there in 18th, Slaughter and Bodie rounding out the top 20.
21st will be Jalen Handcamp with Steven Overstadt in 22nd. Kyle Topp 23rd. Jacob Bell, the boss man, 24th. Josh Parrish will round out 25th with Jeremy B. Brown 26th. Garrett Grant, Jeff Wilson, Zach Nerney, and Bryce Sinisak rounding out the top 30.
And we will come through and to show the final results here is getting that run to the checkers here on the screen. Slowing it down as we'll show the final page of results. And all these drivers not having the best of runs here at the Milwaukee Mile. And you can see there in the background of this results page, trying to get that final run to the checkers. And boom, that is the finish here at the Milwaukee Mile.
Tell you what, I want to hear from Garrett Conrath on this one. So let's see if our winner is standing by here, Corey, and let's have a word with him here.
Garrett Conrath, you had to go 8 races to get yourself a win, and now you're back-to-back here in the Truck Series by the thinnest of margins. Ended up being on a pit call, and you held on by 1/100th of a second. What does that feel like, man?
No, that was one hell of a race. There was lots of great battles all throughout the race, and yeah, that's just crazy. I'm not mad at Alex for that. That was good, hard, short track racing there, it felt like at the end.
And just kind of talk about, obviously Milwaukee, not a track that we use quite frequently, but everyone in the Truck Series stands did a pretty good job. But what was the decision making like on that 2-tire call? Did you have a feeling of what the truck was going to do? And more importantly, did you think it was going to be the winning call?
I didn't think at the time. I didn't think it'd be the winning call. I just knew pretty much the whole race, I felt like it was a 3rd or 4th place car at most. Alex had us covered by a long shot, so I just knew I had to get in front of him and try to just get myself at the head of the strategy, I guess. And so it ended up working out perfectly.
Yep, and now 2 races left to go, Kansas and Talladega. In terms of the point standings, we're fresh updated. You are in very good spot to get that regular season title. So are you looking forward to just padding it, or are you already kind of looking towards the chase?
Yeah, just probably a little bit of both. I knew Talladega will be a crapshoot either way, so just get out of there with a halfway decent finish, and Kansas should be okay at, so we'll see.
All right, man. Any final words before we let you go?
Just thanks Low Dollar Racing, Superior Race Cars, General Elevator Solutions, Hendry Cowdery Motorsports Park.
All right, man. Great finish, great run here today, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
And now Brad, a very close second. Not quite good enough, but by the thinnest of margins in the most exciting style, there's Alex McCullum.
Alex, man, going for the bump and run and the send, and then some beating and banging down the front stretch. A 100th of a second separating you out from a win. How's it feel here at the end of Milwaukee?
I feel like we should have won that race, but it is what it is. These races come down to strategy. So, at the end of the day, we finished second. So I'll take a second and then finish in 30th. So, yeah, I didn't really want to drive Garrett like that, but I felt like this was my race to lose. So I tried to give him a good shot going in there, and then washed him up, and then got into his door a little bit, and then got him into the wall a little bit. Then at that point, I was like, all right, I got his momentum, so let's just race it out. I feel like I shouldn't just carry him all the way to the wall, down the whole front stretch. So I feel like we should have raced it out a little bit. But overall, I think it was a good race. Wish we stayed green, because I felt like we were flying compared to everyone on the green flag round.
I'll tell you right now, Garrett did say no hard feelings on his end about the racing. It's just good, hard, short track racing. Sometimes that's what you get when you come to these tracks going through. And I got to say, when you're fighting and looking for the championship here, of course, Alex, you are currently sitting down P17. You're the only driver outside of the top 12 with a win here who has ran every race and is still in contention to get up in the chase. Is that kind of playing on your mind, looking into trying to get these wins as well?
I always go into a race where I always want to win. So I'm just going to take every race and try to win every race. So I feel like I'm sitting good for points for I finished dead last the first 3 races, so I scored like no points the first 3. Then I missed a race, so I feel like I should be a lot higher than I am in points if I actually got finishes in the beginning of the season and ran some more races. So speed's definitely there, but it's all strategy at the end of these races, so you can't do much.
I'm going to ask it, but I think I already know what you're going to say. Next week, Kansas, what's the goal?
Try to win that. I mean, haven't ran trucks at Kansas, so I think it'll be fun, but I'm just going to do the same thing I did tonight, just try to go out, lead laps, and see if we can get one spot better.
Awesome, man. Well, Alex, congratulations on the second place going through. Hard-fought run, and I tell you what, I can see you're listening to Jordan Belford. You probably feel pretty good right now, like Jordan Belford, for a second place.
Yes, sir.
All right, Corey, and from there, let's send it out third place. Zach Carr, standing by with you.
Well, Zach Carr, you had the perfect picture, the perfect view of that finish to the checkers. You were also on that 4-tire strategy, as was Alex. Just came up a little bit short, but you were kind of in that mix all day. Just kind of summarize your race.
Yeah, it was a good battle all day. I felt like we were on the right strategy. It just kind of got crazy when we had that very big split with everybody because we got buried to like 18th, so I didn't really know if we were going to be able to get back there, but that worked out. It's just I felt like throughout the whole run, for us at least, the truck just couldn't really rotate center good, and when it did, it finally snapped, so I couldn't really get any further forward than 5th place or 6th place there.
I mean, obviously, as I've been telling some drivers, Milwaukee, not a track that we're at too often. Did you come into this place with any level of confidence, or was it kind of more acclimating on the fly? Because, you did have good, solid top 5 pace all run, and, I mean, if things went a little bit differently, you could have snookered yourself a win out of tonight.
Yeah, last time I was here was a couple years ago in a different racing league. I was racing Connor Horn, my team owner, and Adam Cabot for a win in the Cup cars, and I was able to hold them off. So that was a couple years ago, last time I raced here. So I kind of used some of what I learned then to try to wrestle the truck around here. It's just, truck's a whole different animal.
Yeah, absolutely it is. But either way, you had yourself a solid run, and Kansas right around the corner. Any shout-outs you want to give or thanks before we let you go?
Yeah, just to my 609 Motorsports guys and team owner Connor, he's really good help. And Jeremy also, even though he's not our teammate in this series, he's also pretty big help. And it was just fun racing with all my teammates.
Absolutely, man. Great job here today, and we'll catch you at Kansas.
For sure. Thank you.
Well, Brad, we just obviously saw a photo finish at Milwaukee, which was not on my bingo card. And as you just kind of said on the back-end chat, we'll show the fans. Well, I'm registering 11 cautions, 34 laps. It didn't feel as bad as the numbers say. It was a good race, and of course, a phenomenal finish will be a band-aid to a lot of things.
Yeah, maybe it's just that finish getting to me and placeboing myself up, but that felt like probably one of the best truck races of the season here at this point going through. Of course, we've said it. It's been on a run of some caution fest and green, white checkers and bonehead racing, but really seemed like just tonight something clicked. And hey, we've got a good track coming up next week with Kansas that, maybe we'll get a taste of our own medicine, or maybe it's going to be a second verse, same as the first. We'll find out.
We'll find out indeed. But again, don't miss next race here in area on Thursday. Florida State Pro Builders at the Daytona Road Course in the Nopes car. Should be a good one. We'll be live tomorrow night with the Elbows Out Racing League, starting off another season with them. We'll also doubling up on Thursday with the Triple Bypass Series. Very busy here on PTR TV. Happy to have all you guys here watching these races with us. Check out the website. We do have a couple openings left and would love to have your league on the channel in one of our very rare off days. But that's going to be Corey and Brad signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.
See you.